Okay, in this module, we're going to be introducing functions, which are a way of improving the power and also the efficiency of your code structures in PHP. So let's just say we have this very simple web page that draws a square on the screen. It might look like this when I run that code. So it's a 200 by 200 square, and that is defined in the style attribute of the div tag, and the rest of the square style is taken care of by this custom class, which I'm going to hide now to just kind of get it out of our way. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take out the 200 by 200 because I want to make it really easy for myself to change the size of the square. So I'm going to create a variable called size, and let's just call it int size so that I know it's an integer. And I'll put 200 in there. And then I'm going to take this variable and I'm going to substitute it for the 200 in my code here. Now, since it has a px right after it, and that's how we do the style attributes of this, I am going to actually use string concatenation to put this together, which means I'm going to end this string and start a new string and put it together with the variable in between like that. So when I do this, what I'm basically saying is take this string, use this dot to put it together with this variable, and then another dot. Each dot is like the glue that sticks all the strings together. And then finally, there is this string at the end. And I'm going to do the same thing again right here, where I am breaking it up into multiple strings. I'm going to put that int size in that same spot there. So now, when I run this, I get the exact same thing. Okay, and this is how it looks when it's done with everything put together. So no difference so far, except that now, if I want to make a 500 pixel square, all I have to do is change that in one place. And now I have control over that. So let's talk about what it's like to put this into a function. And so I'm going to take this code and I'm going to build a function right up here at the top of my page. So I'm going to create a PHP block up here. And then I am actually going to create a function by using the function keyword. And then I give it a name called draw square. So I know what that function does. I have to include parentheses after the name of the function, no matter what. We'll see what we do with those parentheses in a little bit. But for right now, I'm just going to create a basic function that does exactly the same thing. So I'm going to take both of these lines of code and I'm going to cut them and paste them up here inside this function. So now draw square, the function, represents everything in these curly braces, which means that anytime I say draw square in my code, it's going to execute this block of code. So if I say draw square right here, and then I execute that code, you can see it does the same thing. And if I look at the source code, I've got my 500 by 500 square. And just like before, I can change it to, let's say, a 100 by 100 square. And it still works just the same way. So let's take this up one more notch. And I'm going to use something called a parameter. A parameter means I can actually take, at the point where I am calling the function, send data to that function that now allows me to specify the height of the square on the fly. So instead of putting int size here inside the function as a static variable, I'm going to put int size as a parameter. So now that it's inside this parentheses, what that means is when I call that function, I'm actually going to pass that function a number, which then goes into this variable, which then appears here in the code when it executes. So let's run that. Okay, still working. Good news. But just to show you how powerful this is, now I can draw squares of 3 different sizes just by calling that function with 3 different numbers as parameters. So it's a very powerful ability that we have now to take these and actually produce code blocks that are reusable and customizable. Now there's one more step I want to show you, and that is this. We can take the function itself and we can take that and put it in a whole separate file. So this file, func.php, func.php, is in the same directory as my other file, and all it contains is PHP code. So I'm going to save that and close it. And instead of defining the function in my same file, I'm going to use an include. And include means take whatever's in the file that I'm including and put it into this code, or put the effects of it into this code. So I'm going to pass it a string that is the name of that file, func.php. And now it's as if that code was right here in this page. But the nice thing about that is that I can reuse this file now, or in this code, and this function can appear in any number of files that I want. So again, if I call that code, let's change the numbers around a little bit just to show you that it's actually working. Okay, so there it is. Again, those functions are working just as if I called them from the same page, but look how small my code is. And I can now use that draw square function in any of my web pages that I want to.